This is the AEW Dynamite March 5, 2025 full show results video which takes place at Sacramento Memorial Auditorium in California. The show opens with a cut to Maxwell Jacob Friedman cutting a promo outside. He says what he did to Hangman's boy Christopher Daniels was light work and now he's hungry and wants to prove a point to his shitty little Mark fan club, and if he wants a fight he ain't hard to find, he's on the streets of Sacramento with a bullet with Hangman's name on it. Tony Schiavone is in the ring to preside over a contract signing and both Swerve and Ricochet comes into the ring. Ricochet tells him he's lucky that he's even humoring giving him a rematch, because he should be done with him. Swerve is the one that started this by sticking his nose into his business and chose to mock him and try to embarrass and bully him, and what happened? Even in the face of all of that, he still beat Shane and that's why he's mad. Strickland tells him to sign the contract and he says he will but doesn't shut up, saying he's one step closer to being AEW World Champion. He's focused on Jon Moxley and Adam Copeland and being the champion he was always supposed to be, and he signs the contract and tells Swerve not to let Nana down. Strickland tells him to shut the hell up and calls him entitled and annoying, a self-righteous prick, and yeah, he started this because he wanted to expose Rick for who he is. He awakened the most dangerous man in AEW and he's gonna have to learn to live with it. Strickland takes a shot at Ricochet's ring announcer wife Samantha Irvin and signs the contract, squaring up with him. Ricochet goes for the scissors but Swerve blocks him and pulls out a pair of his own. He spikes Ricochet in the forehead with the scissors. Rick clutches at his bleeding head in vain agony and Strickland takes his leave of the situation. Then we saw an 8-man tag team match between Brian Keith and Don Callis family versus Mark Briscoe, Orange Cassidy, Powerhouse Will Hobbs, and Will Ospreay, and the result of this match was Mark Briscoe, Orange Cassidy, Powerhouse Will Hobbs, and Will Ospreay won the match by pinfall with hidden blade from Ospreay on Brian Keith. Post-match, Davis puts a sleeper on Ospreay while the Murder Machines work Hobbs over on the floor. Turning the stairs sideways, hits double powerbomb into the side of the stairs. Callis watching the life fade from Will's eyes and Archer steps on his neck. Kyle Fletcher makes his entrance and gets in the ring with an unconscious Will Ospreay. Murder Machines hold him up as he comes around and Kyle windmill punches to the dome and to the midsection. Grounded punches, wailing on him, Davis tries to pull him off but Fletcher isn't having it. He yells at Mark to not tell him what to do and to do as he's told. Fletcher instructs Davis to use the chair and Dunkzilla reluctantly wallops Ospreay's back with it. Kyle sets the chair up, and delivered a brainbuster through the seat of the chair and Ospreay clutches his shoulders as his legs spasm. The next match happened between Adam Copeland versus Wheeler Yuta, and the result of this match was Adam Copeland defeated Wheeler Yuta by pinfall with a spear. Post-match, they shake hands and Copeland tells Yuta that's what respect feels like. Jon Moxley slides in the ring after he leaves to push Wheeler around and berate him for losing, pie-facing him a few times and jawing at him. Yuta slaps his hand away, Moxley grabs his face, and Wheeler slaps him and leaves. The camera follows them backstage where Jon tells him to keep walking and issues vague threats on what will happen if he sees him again. Moxley congratulates Copeland on getting him alone and defenseless, like a sheep. Adam thinks he's defenseless, alright, he won, he got to him, pissed him off, wasted his time and brought out the worst in him, congratulations. You rattled the cage but the bars are there for your safety and says he's going to enjoy every second of beating Adam's ass. He scoffs at the idea of respect via a handshake and says there never has been any respect in this business. Copeland's pulled the trigger 3 times, but on Sunday he'll only have to pull the trigger once. Renee Paquette interviews Maxwell Jacob Friedman outside and he says Hangman Page is a gutless coward and he's the true main character of AEW, and then Hangman Page drives up in his electric truck and gives chase. Hangman gets out and charges into the arena and bowls MJF over, but it turns out to be a lookalike who begs off and says Max paid him. Friedman appears behind Page and beats him down, takes him to the ring, Hanger blocks the Heatseeker, sets up Buckshot but MJF kicks him low. This time the Heatseeker connects. Max tears his shirt open to reveal an MJF did nothing wrong t-shirt and beats Adam down some more and takes a break to beat up security too. MJF pulls out the Dynamite diamond ring and slides it onto his pinky but Page double legs him into mounted punches. Back on his feet, Max manages to club him with a loaded punch and kisses his own ring. Friedman gets on the mic and says the crowd loves when their precious cowboy burns things. Right, how will we feel when he burns something? He gets lighter fluid out from under the ring. MJF squirts lighter fluid all over Hangman Page. He pulls a lighter out and flicks it but referees and another wave of security appear and tackle him to the mat to take the lighter away. They get him off his feet and he screams for them to let him prove his point, but they all drag him out of the ring. He screams that Hangman is a coward and they're all hypocrites as Paige wakes up with AEW Medical standing over him. Back from the commercial, Ash Abelson of Sumerian Pictures is interviewed about his upcoming Mildred Burke biopic Queen of the Ring. He explains the basic idea and introduces Toni Storm to put it over. She says it's great but they cut her gratuitous nude scene. He explains that it's a family picture but don't worry, he's keeping it in his private vault. The next match happened between Chris Statlander and Thunder Rosa versus Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford. Rosa knocks Ford down with an elbow, follows it with a dropkick, tagged to Statlander, but Bayne is right there with a big boot. Megan catches Thunder on a dive and throws her out to the floor onto Chris. Bayne grabs Penelope and throws her at them too. Bayne goes for a suplex, Rosa floats over, leg feed Enzwajiri connects. Tags made, Statlander with a Revolution Michinoku driver, hard whip into the corner, Thunder in with poetry in motion dropkick. Bayne comes in, super kicks stagger her, sick kick from Rosa, scissor kick from Chris and she throws her to the floor. Wrecking ball dropkick from Rosa, Ford knocks Chris Stat off the turnbuckles, Thunder comes back in and licks her face before slapping her hard, heels press the attack, and then Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford won the match by pinfall with Fate's descent from Bayne on Thunder Rosa. Renee Paquette interviews Mercedes Moan backstage and she says Serena Deeb is gonna break Momo Watanabe for her and Sunday is going to be a walk in the park. Platinum Max Caster makes his entrance and gets on the mic and he puts himself over in his usual literally trademarked manner and says he's the most talked about wrestler in AEW and all the Maximaniacs are talking, saying one thing or another, and tonight he wants them all on the same page. He tries to lead the crowd in a "Let's go Max, you're the best wrestler alive" chant, but it doesn't take. He says that was a good effort and this is Sacktown for a reason because the fans here are a bunch of ballbags. Then Caster opens up his challenge and Jay White answers. Then we saw a match between Switchblade Jay White versus Platinum Max Caster, and the result of this match was Jay White defeated Max Caster by pinfall with Blade Runner. Post-match, White gets on the mic and says he and Adam Copeland have each other's backs and now Jon Moxley is all alone, and he'll be there at Revolution to see in the new AEW World Champion. Renee Paquette hosts a sit-down between Mariah May and Toni Storm and reminds them they agreed to no physicality. Mariah May immediately gets up and spits in Storm's face and plays the victim, but Renee reminds her that she started all of this. Mariah begs in front of a stone-faced Toni, pleading with her about how they need each other and they're better together. Storm finally breaks her silence and says she condemns May to a life of mediocrity where she'll do fine but she'll dwindle, be replaced and forgotten, and on day they'll ask whatever happened to Mariah May and the answer will be that she found out what happens when you try to kill God. They square up and Paquette squeaks out a nervous "I hope neither of you gets seriously hurt." In the main event of the show, we saw a match between Brody King and Shane "Swerve" Strickland versus Kazuchika Okada and Ricochet, and the result of this match was Okada and Ricochet defeated Brody King and Swerve Strickland by pinfall when Ricochet attacked Swerve with the Okada's title, but referee didn't see that, and he pinned Ricochet. Okada and Ricochet celebrates outside, and the show goes off the air. How much you would rate this week's AEW Dynamite show? Let me know in the comments, and thanks for watching.